Stem cells are simple cells in the body that are able to be developed or manipulated into any other kind of cell in the body. The use of stem cells for human benefit is a topic nobody ever seems to agree on. Scientists have found a way to take body cells and clone them using the Dolly sheep method to create embryos so they do not have to use an embryo from the mother's womb. They break down the cloned embryos and take their stem cells and can use them to grow new tissue, which can be used for just about any part of the human body. Stem cells have the potential to cure many diseases, such as Parkinson's disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, heart disease, and so much more. How it works is scientists take skin from a patient and fuse it with a human egg. Then they empty it of its chromosomes. After this, the cells can later be manipulated into the tissue that the patient would need. In an article written by scientist Joanne Fisher, she states that they have tried this theory on several different animals and have had successful results. She stated that in sheep, they were able to create replacement neurons and cure spina bifida. They also were able to create patches of heart, skeletal muscle, skin, and cartilage, and were transferred into parent cows. That is just a small fraction of everything that has been accomplished with cloned stem cells. They've even grown kidney, viscid bone, immune system cells, liver, and brain cells. Fisher says they are still a long ways away from cures in animal therapies to human therapies. She says that treatments for the average person are at least 10 years away. Normally, when receiving a transplant of any kind, the patient would have to be a perfect match with whomever the patient is receiving the transplant from. All transplants, whether it be single cells or whole organs, require tests to make sure they are compatible. If the two are not compatible, the end result would be host rejection or even death. Scientists plan to use cloned stem cells to eliminate this problem. According to scientist Bernadine Healy, the patient does not have to be a perfect match to receive a transplant of stem cells. He says that the eggs are emptied of the chromosomes and fused with DNA from the patient that the transplant would go to. The clone would have one genetic parent and would be the genetic twin of that parent. Therefore, being a perfect match would be no problem because the stem cells would be an exact replica of the patient's own DNA. Some people believe cloning human embryos for stem cells bypasses ethical concerns when it comes to having to destroy human life. Healy states that other people argue that because the technique of somatic cellular nuclear transfer can be used for reproduction, its development and use for basic research should be banned. Scientists argue back by saying cloned stem cells, they do not have to use a human embryo from the womb to get the stem cells. They're able to create their own. Scientists state that a cloned embryo could never be a viable human being, and that in reality there is no human life being destroyed because the embryo can never survive. They say cloning is not the same as taking a live human embryo and destroying it. It is like making one from scratch. Even with all that said, people still believe cloning stem cells for human benefit should not be allowed. Bernard Lowe stated that creating embryos with the intention of using them for research and destroying them in that process violates respect for human life. Biologist Matalopo says there will always be opposition to embryonic research, but the potential benefits are huge. He and many scientists believe embryonic stem cells should change medicine forever, and it could heal a variety of different diseases and take away the suffering of ill patients with pain-filled diseases. They say since a cloned embryo can never be a vital human being, why should scientists not use cloned stem cells to eliminate the suffering of so many people, and that it is a second chance for people with terrible and pain-filled diseases who have nothing left. Bernadine Healy stated in his article that the United Nations have failed to agree whether therapeutic stem cell cloning is blessed or sinful.